talking with reporters. Still upbeat, as upbeat as he'd been in training camp and talking about some of the struggles he had then. Said he felt more comfortable, said that the game has slowed down for him a bit. But Ryan, looking at his play and then talking with Vance Joseph, where do you think sort of this team sits with him after this first preseason game?
Well, Vance labeled Paxton's performance up and down. His pants didn't catch on fire. There was nothing up about his performance. You know, the interception was a bad throw into traffic. He probably had a little bit too much juice on it. Traylor had no shot at it. Everything Paxton Lynch does right now looks awkward. He's not forcing anything because he's just not, he's moving around the pocket. He's not comfortable. You know, I would agree with him to say things moving slower because he does look like he's moving slower. Chad Kelly is probably better than his third team for Minnesota, but I think the major takeaway tonight is the backup quarterback week 1 against Seattle, was that person not in the building tonight? I think they're about a week away from them having to really address that. And Vance is out as well. Case is the starter, that's who he's concerned about. That's fine, but the attrition at quarterback in this league, you're going to need that second guy to play a series, a half, maybe a quarter, or a game or two. So I think they need to look at the free agent market, trade at a last resort because, I don't think their number 2 guy is here on the roster in this game tonight. Any questions, Matt? Not yet. It's a little tough at this time at night. I mean, even my parents are probably sleeping in North Dakota. They're usually good for a couple questions. But
we'll talk about Chad a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll stay in quarterbacks because obviously I think that's what the fans want to hear from at this point, how Chad was after this game. A little bit surprised by how subdued he was. The guy really only cares about winning. He was able to put together a bit of an impressive last-minute drive there, trying to get the win. Last-second throw that doesn't get completed at the end. So some of that emotion still fresh on his mind, but obviously a guy who plays with a lot of passion. And if anything, bolstered his stock on the roster. Is he ready to be the backup? I don't think so. We need to see more from him, but certainly impressed.
You're a Seinfeld guy, right?
I am.
Okay. Remember the episode where George's fiance died and the doctor said he had the look of unbridled enthusiasm? That's Chad Kelly. It's restrained enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to be bursting because he heard the crowd chanting his name. He hadn't played in a live game since Ole Miss because of injuries. If you're Chad Kelly, you probably see the writing on the wall that you're not going to be the number 2, but a good preseason, you're definitely sticking on the 53. That's a year of service time. It means you're closer to maybe playing, showing another team that you may be worth a shot to be a number 2 somewhere. So, Chad Kelly, if you had to pick one of the winners tonight, he was it. You talked the touchdown, 5.5 minutes to go in the first half was also their first down. I think the tide's turning toward him.
Yeah, the fact that the Broncos gave him some of those early carries in some critical situations, they capitalize on that interception, get down near the Vikings' red zone. Second play from scrimmage, we see Royce get to the outside, get in that second level, make a guy miss, and head up the sideline. That's something that this running backs room really needs. It's probably going to be a group by committee a little bit, but Royce, being a rookie, getting those carries early, certainly impressed from the start.
I think we have a question. The only mysteries are going to be, is it somebody we know?
Well, no, it is not actually.
All right, bring it.
You guys weren't here Kyle, you're here last year, but Ryan not on the Broncos beat. However, what do you think of Trevor Siemian's play so far compared to what he looked like in Denver a year ago?
Kyle, you take that one.
Well, he looked steady. Obviously, Siemian, I think at this point, has probably solidified his backup role with the Vikings. I guess I can't say that for sure, but based on his experience and his play in games, the Broncos would obviously feel much more comfortable having Siemian as their backup than Paxton Lynch at this point.
I think Vance would too.
Yeah, so I think that in itself speaks volume, but I mean, with Trevor, we know what this guy sort of brings to the table. If he's able to find his first read quickly and make that throw, he's very accurate, is able to complete passes. Almost like Paxton, though, once he has to make those second and third reads, that's where we see him struggle. But tonight, for Siemian's efforts, 11 of 17, 165 yards, a couple of touchdowns and 1 pick, so a bit of a mixed bag, but like I mentioned, Broncos would have to feel a lot more comfortable with him in camp, but that being said, they would have had to get rid of the first-round pick, and we could talk about that for days and sort of the politics, how that situation plays out.
Yeah, let's talk about Isaiah McKenzie a little bit.
Yeah,
a guy who was maligned last year, rightly so, by Bronco fans, and has the punt return for the touchdown. You saw people tweet, well, this makes him a lock. I disagree. what'd you make out of how he can build on that play?
Well, to be fair, I wasn't around covering that game, but I'm fairly certain that Isaiah McKenzie returned a punt or a kick for a touchdown in his preseason opener last year against Chicago.
It was a kick.
Yeah, a kick.
Right.
So still, a guy who flashed huge potential as a rookie. Part of the reason he got that Broncos country, the fan base, just to say, all right, we can give this guy another chance. Obviously, off to a good start. If he can prove that he can be reliable as a pass catcher in those situations, could certainly flourish. But yeah, got a leg up, I think, early in this process for being that number one punt return guy.
Yeah, a couple more points. Let's talk about Von Miller really quick. Vance was pretty adamant on Thursday that he was going to play. He did not play in the first two preseason games last year, but